Welcome to the new era of music synthesizers. My name is Blake Angelos with Yamaha Corporation of America here at Sweetwater with our all-new flagship music synthesizer, Montage. Montage represents a new era in synthesizers that greatly builds on the legacy of two iconic instruments in Yamaha's history, the DX series of FM synthesizers and the hugely popular Motif series. Montage sets the next milestone for synthesizers with sophisticated dynamic control, massive sound creation, and a streamlined workflow, all combined in a powerful keyboard designed to inspire. Check out the hugeness of this. Music is all about expression. Montage adds a whole new level of expression with the motion control synthesis engine. The two tone generators, AWM2 and FMX, are united by this new sophisticated dynamic control interface called motion control. Motion control allows a variety of methods, like the super knob, to interact with the instrument and make finding your unique sound even easier. All this capability for some massive sound creation is made a playable thing within the performance. In fact, Montage really only has the single performance mode, making it much easier to navigate and find inspiring sounds. A performance can have up to 8 real-time playable parts that can be AWM2, FMX, or any combination of the two technologies. A performance can also contain arpeggio content for drum grooves, bass lines, and more, with an onboard library of over 10,000 arpeggio types. Everything you are going to hear in this video lives in the performance. So this performance I'm going to play here is called DJ Montage. And this is pretty cool. Motion control changes the sound dynamically. You'll hear things like ARPs move in and out, and you'll hear filters open up. You'll hear a whole bunch of things happening. And then there's assignable controls over here that change the sound in real time. Plus I have part control where I can mute tracks and bring in stuff. So check this out. This is called DJ Montage. The AWM2 and FM tone generators in Montage can be integrated with motion control in a few ways, and you might have noticed this eye-catching, illuminated, multicolored, blinking knob right here. This is the super knob. The super knob is a macro control knob that can change multiple parameters simultaneously, resulting in dynamic sound changes. With the super knob, you can do some pretty cool things. And it also has programmable colors and animations too. But for people that don't want to see it, you can turn it off as well. So what can you do with motion control? Well, you can blend and mix an AWM2 sound with an FMX sound. That's a pretty simple one. But you can also radically change the character of a performance from atmospheric and mellow to super rhythmic and edgy. And you can dynamically control the size and instrumentation of an ensemble. So an ensemble just doesn't get louder, but it gets larger as well. And I'll show some of that later on in the video. The snooper knob can be easily assigned to a second FC7 controller, which is what I have connected to the Montage here, making it easy for me to manipulate and control the instrument with both hands instead of having to reach up and turn the super knob all the time. No Yamaha music synthesizer would be complete without a stunning concert grand piano. And Montage takes us to an entirely different level with an all-new recreation of our award-winning CFX Premium Concert Grand. Every note of this instrument has been meticulously sampled at many velocity levels, and it creates the most dynamic and expressive piano that has ever existed in an electronic musical instrument. But with motion control and the super knob, the piano can be instantly mixed with an FM piano as well. This performance is called CFX plus FM EP. And notice how with this connected FC7 controlling the super knob, I can blend between the great piano sample and the FM EP part. Check this out. So notice when I played that piano, how soft I could play and how the thing just speaks. That's the hallmark of a great piano. I'm actually getting kind of emotional just talking about it right here. Just check this out. And the thing I love about Montage is that it sustains like a grand piano. It's something that it's an amazing piano. A second way the motion control engine can be utilized are with motion sequences. Motion sequences are tempo synchronized, completely customizable control sequences that can be assigned to virtually any synthesizer parameter and provide incredible new ways of creating sound. Motion sequences also have dedicated controls on the front panel, making it easy to manipulate and change in real time, providing incredible interactivity and expression with this instrument. So this performance is called Freaky FM AF1 and 2, and this is a FM sound with a little bit of AWM, but it's primarily all FM. And check out, I can stop and hold the motion sequence. You'll see what I'm talking about. Check this out. the AWM2 and FMX engines in Montage truly complement each other, and careful thought was put into thinking about how these engines will blend and interact. It's truly a powerful sounding, balanced musical instrument. Let's dig into a bit deeper about these two engines and what they're all about. So AWM2 is a proprietary Yamaha technology for data compression and sound playback. AWM2 allows for a tremendous amount of data compression without any sound quality loss. For unparalleled realistic sound reproduction. It's a very, very closely guarded secret on how we do this so well too. This is the evolution of the technology that made the Motif series the top-selling synth line for 15 years. But Montage is much more than an incremental specification increase. Powered by technology advances, the AWM2 tone generator in Montage is much more powerful than the Motif XF in several different ways. With 128 notes of stereo polyphony, the AWM2 tone generator Montage features twice the polyphony of the Motif XF. In addition, Montage includes 1.75 gigabytes of high-speed read-write integrated flash memory for your own custom synth libraries, soon to be available at YamahaSynth.com. The preset wave capacity alone in Montage is nearly 10 times the waveform capacity of the Motif XF, allowing for many more samples per instrument for incredibly realistic and nuanced sounds. The next performances I'm going to play are entirely AWM2 content. Check this out. So the first performance is called Seattle Sections. And this is cool because what the super knob is going to do is it will move between a string section and a small string quartet. You'll see that move, and you'll see me use the FC7 to control the super knob. And the other thing I'm going to show you is what we call seamless sound switching, where I can move from one performance to the next one without cutting off the performance I'm coming from. This was a direct result of us listening to customers saying, I want to move from one sound to another and not cut off the previous sound. So we got that, and Montage absolutely does that. So check this out. Here's Seattle Sections first, and then I'll move into an orchestral brass without cutting off Seattle Sections as I move away from it. Here it goes. So what I just did, I started with the Seattle Sections, moved from a string section to a quartet, then using seamless sound switching, moved from that to the orchestral brass swell. And you notice that when I move the super knob, the ensemble doesn't just get bigger and louder, the actual ensemble size changed from like 3 or 4 horns to maybe 20 horns. And then I moved from that sound seamlessly to a performance called choir strings pipe organ, that you could hear the choir here. Now as I move the super knob up, I get the strings with it too. And then I get this cool little Easter egg at the end of it, which is the massive pipe organ. Along with the AWM2 engine is FMX, an amazingly sophisticated pure synthesizer engine capable of producing a wide range of sounds from classic 80s to cutting-edge EDM sound with incredible dynamic range, power, and fidelity. Montage features an advanced 8-operator FM synthesizer architecture with 128-note polyphony, allowing for a massive array of sound design options. This is a meaningful evolution from the classic DX style of FM synthesis with the addition of multiple waveform choices within each operator, available resonant filters, and a powerful effect engine as well. It is FM on an entirely different level. Here are some really cool FM performances. This next performance is one of the coolest performances I've ever heard using FM synthesis. Check this out. It starts out with kind of a non-pitched bell-like sound, but listen to what happens with the super knob. As it changes, it sounds like audio glass. I don't know how else to explain it. Just listen to this. That is just a cool sound. So here's the last FM sound I'll show you is one called Warm Shivers. I don't know who names these, but this is kind of actually what it sounds like, warm shivers. The synthesizer engine in Montage is further enhanced by a newly designed effect engine as well. From high-definition reverbs to incredibly detailed virtual circuitry modeling or VCM effects, Montage is loaded with DSP innovation, power, and most importantly, sound quality. There are a range of vintage effects like analog delay, VCM phaser, and a variety of amp simulators. Piano players will appreciate the piano-focused effects like damper pedal resonance for a super realistic piano experience with HD reverbs that simulate any performance space. There's an envelope follower in here as well that can convert audio into a control source. For electronic music producers, there are cool effects perfectly suited to the genre, like beat repeat, vinyl break, and bit crusher. And you can add a sidechain compressor for that modern pumping ducking effect, like this. Performances can contain up to 8 playable parts, which is extremely useful for a live player. A great example of these are what we call gallery performances. This first one is called Rhodes Gallery, which is a multi-part performance that takes you through a brief history of the electronic piano. Each part features a different version of the Rhodes, from a hard hammer version to a softer hammer version to a suitcase version and to a later Mark V version. The assignable controls can add different effects or behavior, and there's even a mechanical noise part that can be brought in and out so you can have a more played and funkier electronic piano sound. So the thing that's cool about this performance is that I can move through the different Rhodes sounds and come up with something that works for my music. The super knob does different things. On most of them, it turns up the preamp sound, so it's a little more overdriven Rhodes sound, and sometimes it brings in a little bit of the mechanical noise that I've assigned here to part 5 that I'll bring in and out as well. So the first one is a soft hammer Mark I is what it is. So. Here's the next one. That's the 73. Now these assignable buttons over here, I can bring in a chorus or a phaser. So here's the chorus. Or the phaser. And here's the Mark V version. Now I'll add a little bit more of the mechanical noise. How about just the mechanical noise? Dynamic mechanical noise. Rhodes Gallery. That's really cool. The next performance is called 8 amps and a telly. And each of the parts of the 8 that I have here are the same guitar sound, but each one is being processed differently through different preamps, cabinet types, and effects. The super knob changes in real time things like drive. It'll bring up a tremolo at the end of it. It's cool. Just check this out. It's pretty cool how each of these amplifier types really changes the sound of that guitar. It even changed how I played the instrument. I couldn't help, especially on the one that has the big chorus amp, I couldn't help but play more this one here. That's a great sound. Plus you notice, again, with all this wave ROM, it slides when I hit it harder. Really expressive. I love this sound. I love our guitar sounds though. They just sound great. The fact that Montage essentially operates from a single mode is just one aspect of its streamlined workflow. There is the touchscreen, of course, and that's where I've been selecting sounds. But the cool thing is that you can work effectively from the touchscreen, or you can work from the buttons and faders, and they mirror each other. So if I select a performance from the touchscreen, it's mirroring exactly what's happening over on the hardware controls. So it's really wherever I have my hands. The interface is really conveniently redundant, and it allows me to do these same operations from either side, so it's really fast. There are 8 rotary encoders that are always in the right position no matter where you're at, so you don't have to catch or latch to turn the knob. Wherever I turn it and I select things, it remembers where it's at. So it's a really nice interface in that regard too. The stepladder LEDs right next to the faders as well indicate the position, and it makes it easy to see it from different angles, and it's illuminated. Really a nice interface, super easy to use, streamlined workflow. Speaking of the touchscreen, you may have noticed that I've been selecting performances mostly directly from Montage's touchscreen. This is called the live set. A live set is a collection of 16 performances that are instantly selectable from either the touchscreen or from the buttons on the right. There are preset live sets that highlight a collection of performances like a best of, and there are FM sets, there are piano sets, there are orchestral sets, synth sets, and so on. You also have a huge amount of user live sets as well for you to customize. So you can name them things like Gig Set 1 or Modern Worship or EDM Production or just My Sounds or whatever. In fact, this one, since I'm at Sweetwater, says Sweetwater. This is my Sweetwater live set. And as you heard before, you can utilize seamless sound switching in the live set for users who want to move from one performance to another without cutting off the sound. Montage is not just a standalone music synthesizer. It's also a 16-part multi-timbral instrument that elegantly connects to the computer via a built-in robust USB audio and MIDI interface. You can send 16 stereo audio channels. That's 1 stereo channel for each part, and return 3 stereo channels back from a computer-based DAW. In addition, the USB connection is also a MIDI interface for recording and playing back MIDI data from each of the 16 parts, all from a single USB cable. And insertion effects are not a problem since each part has its own insertion effect block. That's double the amount from the Motif XF. Montage also connects to iOS devices as well, and you'll hear more about that later. There's an A to D stereo input as well that processes external audio sources with Montage's DSP. Use guitars, mics, or any line sources as the input and process it with the internal effects. You can use these sources with an all-new envelope follower or sidechain for a truly unique sound as well. Montage features professional stereo balanced outputs with pure analog circuit technology. This is a digital to analog conversion technology that improves the quality of the signal after being converted from the digital domain to the analog domain for clear harmonic reproduction and even frequency response across the instrument. The result is an output capable of reproducing Montage's internal content really expressively with a whole lot of power and clarity, as you've heard. There are more exciting things in store for Montage, including some great content, like an all-new Bosendorfer Imperial Grand, an FM converter that will convert DX and TX series FM sounds, a VST audio unit plugin for instant recall of Montage settings within the DAW, and many more things coming. I hope you enjoyed this introduction to the new Yamaha Montage. With its sophisticated dynamic control, massive sound creation, and a streamlined workflow, creating amazing music in many types of styles is right at your fingertips. For more information about this product or any other product from Yamaha, don't hesitate to contact your Sweetwater sales engineer.